out in the community to make a difference. And we already have a bracket buster. March Madness highlights coming up. All those stories, plus your latest weather. Middle Tennessee News starts right now. Thank you for joining us this evening. I'm T. Gladney, and welcome to Middle Tennessee News. One Laverne High School teacher is taking a stand against teen violence in a unique way. Sanji Newman is a biology teacher at Laverne High School. She has been in the education profession for 20 years now and is starting to see a reoccurring problem that she wants to stop. Ms. Newman started a radio show called Shift Teen Radio that is broadcasted every Saturday on 101.9 FM. Ms. Newman believes today's teens are crying out for help, and she is there to help them.
Because the teens they're crying for help. They're crying for guidance. They're crying for direction. And that's what the Shift Teen Radio show is for. To get on there and let's talk about these problems. But let's come up with solutions together. Let's work together.
Ms. Newman has interviewed parents and students about teen violence and sees great things in the future for her radio show. With a check on business news, here's Calvin Smith.
Strauss back to the trading floor today. The blue jean maker is returning to the stock market after a 34-year absence. It will trade on the NYSE under the ticker symbol LEVI. The retailer placed its IPO at $17 per share, which originally valued the company at $6.6 billion. Since trading opened today, they're currently in the $22.50 range. And Levi Strauss first went public in 1971, but was privatized in 1985. Now that's a quick look at business. I'm Calvin Smith.
As the March 29th deadline for Britain's withdrawal from the European Union, or Brexit, approaches, the government is in crisis. Jamie Louise Massey joins us now with the latest.
Thank you. Britain's Prime Minister is in Brussels today for a European Council summit, where she is putting her case to the EU leaders for an extension to the Brexit withdrawal process. May said she hoped the UK would leave the EU with a deal. May said what is important is that Parliament delivers on the result of the referendum. The Brexit deal has been twice rejected by lawmakers. May accused lawmakers of infighting and political games. The UK could still crash out of the EU without a deal in 8 days if May and the EU can't agree on a delay. I'm Jamie Louise, back to you guys.
Many of us plan today to have that overcast kind of weather. Jonathan Sasser joins us now with our first look at the weather.
Thanks, T. So we all expected some showers in the morning today, but that seemed to miss us by quite a bit. We instead got some sunny skies to wake us up in the morning with a bit of an overcast, starting in the afternoon. However, now it's sunny again with a high of 60 degrees and a humidity of 45%, with winds going at a quick 15 miles per hour. We should see more sun tomorrow, so get ready for that more later on your 5-day forecast. Back to you, T.
Thanks, Jonathan. Still ahead on Middle Tennessee News, see how one man is bringing a bit of joy to the community and a look ahead on this summer on the big screen. That's coming up on Middle Tennessee News.
Sculpting the perfect body takes time. Quitting smoking does too. But with a little help, you can do it. Get the resources and support you need to quit smoking from the American Cancer Society at cancer.org/smokeout.
Hannah is bright, talented, and she's been so brave. Hannah complained of a headache. It was a rhabdomyosarcoma. Within a few days, Hannah was in treatment because we were told that the tumor was very aggressive. So we've essentially put our lives in South Africa on hold. Incredibly blessed to be here. St. Jude is an asset to the world. The research that is developed here is offered freely to the rest of the medical world. The entire way that the place operates is just to give. and to care. I think it's the kind of place that not only stands as a beacon for pediatric cancer, but I think it could teach the world a couple of lessons about how to treat people. And I think if those lessons could be learned, even in their most basic form, this world could be a better place.
Repeat after me. Apple, table, penny.
Apple, bread.
I remember watching Dad with the kids and thinking, geez, in 6 years, will he even know who they are?
Ask me again.
1 in 10 Americans over 65 has Alzheimer's disease. Learn more today at brightfocus.org.
What does it look like when a life is truly changed?
I feel a sense of accomplishment because I built a house. This house has brought us financial independence.
Every family dreams to have their own house. This house changed our lives.
Habitat for Humanity is at work in your community and around the world. Through shelter, we empower.
It's estimated that about 100 people come to Middle Tennessee every day. They come from well-paying jobs and the exciting culture, but one aspect of our housing legislation may actually be keeping people from moving here. Studio reporter Joseph Choi spoke with Associate Professor of Construction Management Deanne Van Hook about a push for a new change to laws that'll change that.
Homestead exemptions. They protect a certain amount of value of a home from property taxes and creditors in the case of bankruptcy or death. They're designed to protect against the forced sale of property and can be very attractive to prospective homeowners. Nearly all states have them, but Tennessee's current exemption may not be all that enticing.
They can take everything that you have, including your home, and you only have $7,500. For someone who has severe issues and everything they own is in their home, what they don't have pledged at that point, they'll need to start over again.
Tennessee's homestead exemption was first established in 1852 at $500. It was last raised in 1980 to a maximum of $7,500. Tennessee residents are limited to state exemptions, and there have been concerns that they have not kept up with inflation rates.
We're trying to raise that to $1 million limitation, because if somebody's got a family farm, $7,500 won't even come to light bill.
$1 million is a lot to exempt from paying taxes on, but states such as Florida and Texas have an unlimited homestead exemption. With property values continuing to rise and new residents coming in every day, the current legislation may need updating in the near future. For Studio M, I'm Joseph Choi.
Homestead exemptions. They protect a certain amount of value from from property taxes and creditors in the case of bankruptcy or death. They're designed to protect against the forced sale of property and can be very attractive to prospective homeowners. Nearly all states have them, but Tennessee's current exemption may not be all that enticing. Now, Tennessee's current homestead law ranks among the lowest afforded to residents limited to only state exemptions. There have been numerous attempts in the past to change this, but progress has been slow to start. With large corporations like Amazon attracting new workers, legislators are hoping to update and improve the housing infrastructure to accommodate Tennessee's growing population. One big complaint a lot of people have about news is that it's all bad news. So here at Middle Tennessee News, we thought we'd give you some more stories about the good things happening in the world. Here's Grace Whitaker with some good news.
For a 97-year-old man in New Jersey. He's a World War II vet who is still serving in a way. He's working part-time at a grocery store, and as Tony Yates reports, he doesn't plan on stopping anytime soon.
You want the bottles in here?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. Bartholomew Facito is very proud of his years.
1921 I was born.
He brags to his Stop and Shop customers as we record.
Hey, you know I'm getting old.
And that's the way 97-year-old Benny lives his life, with age as a fact, not as a factor. You don't look it.
No, I'm handsome.
And he's busy working, bagging groceries 2 days a week at this Edison Stop and Shop.
Put it in a bag and customers want to get out.
Mr. Benny has been a part of the Stop and Shop family for nearly 10 years. He used to be at another store, but then his family moved closer to Edison, and all that meant was a job transfer for Mr. Benny.
Benny's a joy. He's full of life. He's happy.
Makes you feel proud. Makes you feel proud. They put my right up on over there.
He's talking about his recent story in the Star Ledger that's made him a local star.
Have you autographed?
And I'm in awe of him, too, that he's able to still move around at 97 years old.
All the more love he gets as folks learn that he was a gunner on a fighter plane during World War II.
I was scared every time I had to get in the plane. But the Lord took me back.
Benny stops the conversation. His customers come first.
Be careful.
But he picks up with us, and we learn one reason why he cherishes his long life.
The day I didn't fly, they shut my plane down.
This veteran and duty-bound American.
And I don't know where they went down.
An autograph seeker.
Was he in the Air Force?
Yes, sir.
What would you fly?
F-86.
Benny looks forward to every day. How long are you going to keep working?
To his work that he doesn't even go on his 15-minute breaks. Now that's some good news. Back to you.
Thanks, Grace. Lots of buzz already about what's coming to the big screen this summer. Here's Montana Moderman with details.
Mega movie news with a long-awaited threequel, the director of this weekend's big film, and your first look at a star-studded trip back to the 60s. Here's David Daniel with the Hollywood Minute.
Hi, I'm Alex Winter.
And I'm Keanu Reeves. And together, we are
Wild Stallions.
Excellent news from Bill and Ted. 30 years ago, their first big-screen adventure quickly became a cult favorite and prompted a sequel. Now,
we want to say thank you to you, the fans.
We do.
Because it looks like we might,
actually,
hopefully,
make a movie this summer.
Bill and Ted 3.
Face the music.
prepare to party on August 21st, 2020.
Okay, let's call the cops.
Us is not as overtly about race as Jordan Peele's last film, Get Out, but the filmmaker says it still makes a statement.
The way this movie deals with race is simply by casting a black family in a horror film, which I think is it's a missing piece of my favorite genre.
So, Rick, explain to the audience exactly what it is a stunt double does.
Actors are required to do a lot of dangerous stuff. Cliff here is meant to help carry the load.
Is that how you describe your job, Cliff?
What, carrying his load? Yeah, it's about right.
The first teaser for Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood features Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, Margot Robbie, and Tinseltown as it looked in 1969. It all hits theaters July 26th.
That was the best acting I've ever seen in my whole life.
In Hollywood.
Tennessee trivia for you. Director Quentin Tarantino, who David just mentioned in his report, was born in Knoxville, Tennessee. And that's just a quick look at entertainment. Back to you.
Thanks, Montana. Still ahead on Middle Tennessee News, a look at the forecast, and the madness has just begun, and we already have a bracket buster. That's coming up in sports. Stay with us.
Turn off your lights for Earth Hour. For our forests, our rivers, our oceans, our wildlife, and for our climate. For our Earth. Earth Hour, March 30th, 2019.
Can I go see what I can do about it? Yeah, I can.
Your zip code. Just one number different, and you might have a whole other life. Different school, different job, different dreams, different problems. In America, the zip code you're born in can determine your future. The Y works to change that, with programs and services that help everyone thrive, no matter who you are or where you're from. For a better us, support your local Y today.
Breast cancer kills more than 41,000 people each year in the U.S. alone. That's unacceptable. That's why by 2026, Susan G. Komen will cut the number of breast cancer deaths in half. We'll get there by helping those who can't pay for treatments, by funding breakthroughs in research that save lives, by ensuring that all people receive the care they need. We'll get there, but only with your help. So, are you in?
My mother used to say a long time ago, whenever there would be any catastrophe that was on the air, she would say, always look for the helpers. Because if you look for the helpers, you'll know that there's hope.
Welcome back. Jonathan Sasser joins us now with a full check on the forecast. Jonathan?
Thanks, T. So yeah, today we were supposed to get some rain, but we ended up not doing that. We decided to have a sunny day instead with a bit of overcast sky. The high was 60 degrees and the humidity was at a nice 45%, with wind at 15 miles per hour, just, enough to whip our hair back and forth. And then tonight, it's going to get a lot colder, with a low going into 34 degrees, the wind and humidity staying the same, and it being partly cloudy. Now tomorrow, however, we'll have a full day of sun with a high in the 60s again, and with a low of 31 degrees. And then Saturday will continue a trend of sun with a high of 60 degrees and a low of 38. Sunday and Monday, however, are going to decide to rain on us, with Sunday having a high of 64 and a low of 50. Monday continuing the showers, but also bringing in some thunder and lightning with it, with a high of 70 degrees and a low of 38. Now that's your 5-day forecast. I'm Jonathan Sasser. Back to you, T.
Thanks, Jonathan. After the break, we're going to sports. Let's talk about those Lady Raiders.
Turn off your lights for Earth Hour. For our forests, our rivers, our oceans, our wildlife, and for our climate. For our Earth. Earth Hour, March 30th, 2019.
Your zip code. Just one number different, and you might have a whole other life. Different school, different job, different dreams, different problems. In America, the zip code you're born in can determine your future. The Y works to change that, with programs and services that help everyone thrive, no matter who you are or where you're from. For a better us, support your local Y today.
Breast cancer kills more than 41,000 people each year in the U.S. alone. That's unacceptable. That's why by 2026, Susan G. Komen will cut the number of breast cancer deaths in half. We'll get there by helping those who can't pay for treatments, by funding breakthroughs in research that save lives, by ensuring that all people receive the care they need. We'll get there, but only with your help. So, are you in?
My mother used to say, a long time ago, whenever there would be any catastrophe that was on the air, she would say, always look for the helpers. Because if you look for the helpers, you'll know that there's hope.
For a lot of people, today is a national holiday. 2 words everyone loves to hear is March Madness. That's right, Jonah Sage joins us now with a look at some sleeper teams and, of course, what's going on in Middle Tennessee athletics.
Thank you very much. Before I get into some of these sleepers you might want to pay attention to, some Cinderella teams, we're going to talk about some women's basketball. It's another year, another postseason appearance for Rick Insell and the Lady Raiders. This team is in the WNIT for the 2nd year in a row after finishing the season 22-10 and 2nd in the Conference USA tournament in the loss against Rice. That all starts tonight as MT goes up against Indiana University, Purdue University, Indianapolis, or IUPUI for short. The Lady Raiders senior standout Alex Johnson has one last chance of making a deep run in this year's NIT. She'll have plenty of support to take her there as well. Senior transfer Aqueen Hayes and freshman Taylor Sutton have been huge impacts for the squad. Hayes leads the team with 15.5 points and 7.5 rebounds per game. Meanwhile, Sutton has nearly 11 points per game this season and was named Conference USA Freshman of the Year. For IUPUI, sophomore center Macy Williams leads the way and will take a bulk of the work for the team. And for good reason. She led the Horizon Conference with 16 points per game and 2nd in the conference in rebounds with 8.9. The matchup will be hosted at the Murphy Center and starts tonight at 7:30. Now on the softball diamond, after a Conference USA opening series loss to UTSA, Middle Tennessee is preparing for their one-game matchup against Maine. Early season stars for the Lady Raiders include junior Summer Burgess, who leads the team with a .354 batting average and adding on 9 walks. The power from the team comes from junior Lexi Cushing, who's crushing the ball off to a hot start with 8 home runs on the season. She doesn't have much cushion for the conference, though. She's also tied with 2 other Marshall players in a 3-way tie for first in home runs, along with 2 other Marshall players, as said. The game starts today at 4 here at home. And as much as we'd love to see MTSU back in the NCAA tournament, that doesn't mean we can't root for the regional mid-majors. I'm talking about the Belmont Bruins. They have been hot as of late and a lot of hype around them in recent weeks. Not only getting an at-large bid for the first time in school history, but winning their first NCAA tournament game against Temple this past Tuesday. They look to continue their Cinderella story against the 6-seeded Maryland Terps. Head coach Rick Byrd has been waiting for this moment his whole life. He's been the coach since 1986, 33 years, and this looks to be the first real chance that these Bruins can make some noise in the tournament. It won't be easy, but that's the reason they call it March Madness. The game has actually already started. Maryland's up 158-57 with just about 10 minutes to go. One thing to note, though, is Dylan Windler, the leading three-point shooter and scorer for the team, will be out for the remainder of the game, so a big impact missing there. We'll see how that ends up. But of course, the whole point of March Madness are the surprising teams, the Cinderellas over the years, Florida Gulf Coast and Dunk City back in 2014. Even last year with Loyola Chicago making the Final Four. Now let's take a look at some of the teams that could do the same. Of course, you've got Belmont up there as an 11 seed. New Mexico State, before their matchup against Auburn, they lost by 1 on game-winning free throws. And 13-seeded UC Irvine, they're going to go up against Kansas State. Look for that matchup to be a potential upset. Meanwhile, some other high-ranked mid-majors, Nevada, Buffalo, and Wofford. Nevada takes on Florida. They're favored to win that one. Buffalo will take on Arizona State, and Wofford will take on Seton Hall later today and tomorrow. Those are some of the teams to be looking out for. Hopefully, I gave you guys some good bracket tips. Going to send it over.
We'll be right back.
Turn off your lights for Earth Hour. For our forests, our rivers, our oceans, our wildlife, and for our climate. For our Earth. Earth Hour, March 30th, 2019.
Your zip code. Just one number different, and you might have a whole other life. Different school, different job, different dreams, different problems. In America, the zip code you're born in can determine your future. The Y works to change that, with programs and services that help everyone thrive, no matter who you are or where you're from. For a better us, support your local Y today.
Breast cancer kills more than 41,000 people each year in the U.S. alone. That's unacceptable. That's why by 2026, Susan G. Komen will cut the number of breast cancer deaths in half. We'll get there by helping those who can't pay for treatments, by funding breakthroughs in research that save lives, by ensuring that all people receive the care they need. We'll get there, but only with your help. So, are you in?
My mother used to say a long time ago, whenever there would be any catastrophe that was on the air, she would say, always look for the helpers. Because if you look for the helpers, you'll know that there's hope.
We're going to jump into one more sports story before we wrap it up. Cameron Gathright has details.
That's right. Former Thunder player.
On our check on the NBA. Cam?
That's right. Former Thunder player Nick Collison becomes the first player in Thunder history to have a jersey retired. Last night at Chesapeake Energy Arena, a light revealed the white banner with blue letters and the number 4. Collison's former teammates included Golden State Warriors All-Star Kevin Durant. But even with Collison looking on, the Thunder couldn't pull off against Toronto. The Raptors win in overtime, 123-114. I'm Camden Gathright. Back to you.
Thanks for joining us on Middle Tennessee News. I'm T. Gladney. If you missed anything on any of our show, you can watch them on our website, middletennesseenews.net. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.